Now, the second station, we come to another very interesting and useful information to explore how AI can unlock transformative growth access your business. Right now, please welcome to the stage Mr. ROHIT DADWAL, MMA board member of CEO Innovate APAC. Please welcome.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. There are some seats empty here in front, so if you guys want to come in front and sit, now they are getting occupied very quickly. That was a very interesting session, I appreciate that. Leadership is really important in innovation, and I think it is a fundamental part of how organizations grow. And one of the things that I do want to share, especially after your session, is there's this book called Naked that I'm reading, which talks about humor in leadership. And this is not my session, this is not what I'm supposed to talk about, but listening to the presentation, I actually thought I'll just add that. It's very important to have humor in leadership. And it's also important because there are a lot of places where you need to diffuse situations about what's happening, what the discussions are, and so on and so forth. It's a very interesting book. I'm just starting to learn what role humor or plays in leadership, in organizations, etc. And I think it goes to the fundamental that you were talking about is innovation. That is also leading or helps the innovation, the culture of innovation. So if you can actually break that silence, make sure that you are able to welcome people into that discussion, because the organization hierarchies are very high. It's also a very interesting and fundamental part of the innovation culture that we all are seeing. So that was just to add to the last presentation. I am not here talking about humor. I wish I was. I wish I was a stand-up comedian and give you some laughs. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm going to talk to you about is AI. The innovation that's happening on AI. Some of it was touched upon in the earlier session. Before I start, how many of you actually use AI? And I am not saying ChatGPT. Okay, no. How many use AI in their work? Few, right? ChatGPT is the start of the AI functionality. It's your companion. It's something like search. The new search is ChatGPT, if you will, right? But that's not AI. AI is far more than what ChatGPT. ChatGPT is the tip of the iceberg of AI. So if you started using ChatGPT, that's a very good starting point. But there's a lot more that needs to be done. An example of that, the Samsung conversational app where you're changing conversation and translation real time, that's part of that. But a lot more has to happen. I'm going to touch upon one small aspect of AI, which is related to advertising and marketing today in my speech. Is what you do currently, how you can do it better using AI and optimizing what you do for your marketing campaigns as you move forward. So that's the part of the presentation that I'm going to do. But before I go to that, I want to run this video. As it says, it is a test of all of you. So please watch carefully. I'm going to ask you questions and be honest. If you've seen this video, don't answer my question. If you've not seen, be honest when I ask you the question. Okay. Can you run the video, please? Sound.
The new Scotopharia actually stings. We left one parked on this ordinary road in West London. We wanted to see if its sharp crystalline shapes, to test just how much attention the attention-stealing design of the new Scotopharia actually steals. We left one parked on this ordinary road in West London. We wanted to see if its sharp crystalline shapes, bold lines and lower, wider profile would attract the desired level of attention. Will the 17-inch black alloy wheels stop passers-by in their tracks? Will the angular headlights attract the attention of other road users? Will a crowd gather to check out its fresh, sporty look? Well, not quite. But did the attention-stealing design distract you from noticing that the entire street has been changing right before your very eyes? Don't believe us? Have another look. Did you spot the van changing to a taxi? How about the scooter changing to a pair of bicycles? Or the lady holding a pig? Let alone the fact that the entire street is now completely different. Didn't think so. So there we have it. Proof that the new Skoda Fabia is truly.
I'm not advertising for Skoda, but how many of you actually realize that entire street changed? You've seen the video, you can't answer. You realize that all of the elements changed? All of them? You've seen the video before? Sorry? Some, right? The reason that I played this video, and it's an analogy that I wanted to drive, is the fact that we are very focused on certain things that are business oriented. Like in this case, the whole video was talking about the Skoda car and the attention around that, but the environment around that was changing. So in our day-to-day jobs, we are focused on doing what we have to do. But what we also need to be aware of is that the world around us is changing. A part of that was the presentation earlier about the culture, the innovation, and AI is real. It is happening. It's changing everything that we do. So please keep your eyes, ears, senses open to the fact that it's going to happen no matter what. And you need to be part of that journey, because if you are not, it's going to be very challenging to catch up and be part of that. So from an MMA perspective, we truly recognize that. We believe that we need to be at the forefront of it. We are an industry body. We work across many markets. All of them are listed here. And our purpose is really to solve the challenges of marketeers when it comes to the continuously evolving change of ad tech, martech, technology, innovation, etc. And we are working with some of the biggest marketing leaders on our board, on our membership, etc., to understand what those challenges are and make sure that we are able to deliver certain aspects of the knowledge that we are generating out of understanding these challenges, working on frameworks, policies, etc. But what we are also very focused on is to work on high impact new knowledge areas. And the reason why I'm giving you this context is what I'm going to share with you is one of those aspects. So we truly believe yesterday's and today's challenges are not there to be solved. The solutions that we need to build, the challenges that we need to solve are for the future. That is where all our efforts are. And we believe we've been doing successfully, very successfully around brand as performance. This was something that we picked up about 5 years back. Now it's becoming reality, brand as performance. Movable middle framework, which is about mass distribution of advertisement versus segmented advertising. We started this in 2019, and now those frameworks are now starting to evolve within organizations, within companies. We have leading marketeers who have adopted these ROHIT and so on and so forth. And that's where our focus is. One of the areas that we've started working is Consortium for AI, which is actually a group of about 200 AI companies and marketeer companies who are actively working on AI. We also believe the world in the last 40 odd years has been divided into these 4 parts. The first 13 years of personal computer, which is all about productivity and how that productivity was delivered. The next 13 years was all about internet, and it was the affluent getting connected, the rich getting connected, about 600 million connections and so on and so forth. And then came mobile, where the billions got connected and everything changed. Everything changed from consumption, from behavior, from innovation, etc. And we truly believe the next 13 years are going to be a fundamental on AI. That's how we see the world in 4 parts in the last 40 odd years. And this is a question mark. It's a question mark because we still don't know what AI will do and how much AI will make impact the world, especially in advertising, marketing. We know these are very broad motherhood statements, connected the billions, connected the rich, etc. But here, it's going to get segmented, it's going to get finer. And one of those areas is the use of AI into our day-to-day work, whether it is about productivity, whether it's about marketing, whether it's about influence, whether it's about supply chain, everything has a possible impact on that. We built a couple of thought leadership groups around it. We are focused on building communities. We are doing a lot of research. Today we are launching the State of AI report for Vietnam. We have global reports, but we have also done one report in Vietnam, which is the State of AI, which is launching today, which gives you a perspective at a local ground level and also at a global level. And we have a lot of training material. So the reason why I'm sharing this slide with you is, if you are interested in learning a little bit about AI, if you being part of the industry, the advertising marketing industry, if there is a need for you, there are a lot of resources that we have. We have full 5-day training programs. These are all free. You don't have to pay for it. You can actually get into the skills training, prompt engineering training, all of this with the mindset from a marketeer or a marketing and advertising mindset. So a lot of these resources. We also have webinars and some of the other training tools that you can use for AI. And we also have some podcasts, some reports that are all available on the MMA Global website. You can just go and download, whether it's generative AI, whether it's consumer experience, adoption, etc. All of these are very interesting reports because it gives you a preview of what's going to come in the future. And that's what we believe we need to take inputs from to help build what is there in the future. So that brings me actually to the presentation that I'm supposed to do, which is the Consortium for Personalization Studies. We took one of the 4 challenges that the marketeers told us is around measurement, is around creativity. And we built a framework. We invested a couple of $1 million. We built a framework, a methodology, which is an IP of MMA. And that methodology and framework is something that we went to the marketeers with to say, let's adopt this, let's build this into your existing marketing campaigns, and let's see what the results are of AI's optimization. And this is very distracting, by the way, AI's optimization. So what we did was we built a council, we did a framework on the thesis that everything that happens on the current ad networks can be bettered in days to come. On the existing structure, on the existing ad network, on the existing marketing campaign. So that was the framework that we built. And the thesis was that personalization, which is what the holy grail of advertising is, can be extended using AI. It is not limited with human interactions. And so this is a very simple math. Some of you may have seen me present this at different forums, but this is a very simple math. So if you do a creative A/B testing, and there's a creative A and creative B, and you test it in the market and you see these results, you realize creative B is what you should be running. And that means between those two creatives, it means there's a 20% lift in the yield that you will get out of that creative. It's simple maths, right? You all understand. If you do the same and subdivide that into a journal population of male and female, and you run the same two creatives and you realize creative A works better for females and B works better for males, then you realize all of a sudden that you have a 40% improvement in the marketing that you were supposed to do for that particular campaign. All with me? Simple maths, 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 4, right? Okay. Now what happens if you do 72 versions of that creative? And those 72 versions of those creatives are optimized on a real-time basis. Not based on rules that we set, that this creative should go to this person because this person lives in Ho Chi Minh and is in District 1. Not based on that. But based on real-time usage of the person, real-time information that you are seeking from the person, those creatives can change. So all of a sudden, you have an option of creatives that can extend themselves to a lot more people. What that means is, the segmentation that you've done, for example, here, time of the day of the week, device type, etc., etc., gives you certain variables. But now if you multiply those variables with the number of creatives that you have, you all of a sudden have 133 million variations available for you to target the same consumers. Maths was theoretically possible even in the past. This math doesn't change. What changes is that the ability to do that kind of variation, ability to optimize in real time to that minute level was not possible because there was no AI. And that's the fundamental theory and the thesis that we are trying to do going forward. So I'll share with you 4 case studies where we did this. So we adopted this, we built the framework, we partnered with a tech company out of US who's used our framework and our methodology and built the technology around it. And we tested this with 4 different organizations. And I'll share some results with you of those 4 organizations. But what this variation of different variables means, let's say if this was the first A/B testing, you got 20% yield. The second A/B testing 40% and so on and so forth. What is interesting is every incremental variation, even if it yields 0.001% better than the previous version, the upside is very high. And that is where AI and the personalization is actually going to yield a lot of benefits as we move forward. And this is just on marketing campaigns. What it also means is the cost will come down. But there is a fundamental challenge in the cost. Any new technology is expensive. We know that. When we started using computers, the 64 MB chip used to cost about $250. Now a 64 GB chip costs less than 20 cents to manufacture. What they sell you at, I don't know. But it doesn't take much to manufacture. Similar to that, AI, if you invest in it today, it's not very cheap. But if you continuously work on it, if you've done the investment and you continuously use it, over a time, the amortization of that investment will become very less. But that's only on the technology. The use of that technology, if you start using it and start adopting that into the other aspects of AI. For example, right now if you were to do that, your performance will go up. That's what I'm going to prove to you. And the cost will come down. But tomorrow, when generative AI comes into the mix, today that's not really possible. A lot of the multinational brands, international brands, even local brands will not do generative AI because it has a lot of problems. It has its challenges. Trademark, IP, copyright. You cannot just let AI generate a creative copy and let it go out. Your legal will not allow it. Your other departments will not allow it. But slowly you will be able to build sandboxes. You'll be able to train AI to help generate those creators for you. And when you do that, the cost will be drastically low and the performance will be a lot higher. And we believe when that starts happening, it's not going to be just incremental yield. It is going to be at least 3 to 4x yield and return of the investment that you do. So the 4 case studies that I'm going to share with you are Kroger. Kroger is an online grocery store in US. General Motors Automotive, you all know General Motors. ADT is a service, security service company in giving home security and corporate security, cameras and so on. So, and Monday.com, as you all know, is a service oriented. What we did with the Kroger company, they had a new website where they wanted to do delivery, free delivery of grocery. We gave them the template of helping create these creatives. The creatives were done by the creative agency. We gave them the template saying what is the assets that you have. So they had 3 assets. If you see the delivery truck, the man and this cartoon, and they had 3 different messages, 3 different call outs and so on. So based on that, they delivered us these creatives into the combination that we have here, and 72 creators. To fundamentally run this campaign, you have to keep in mind three things. And we are here at the end of it. If you want more information, please do speak to me or anybody at MMA. We'll be happy to do similar case studies for you. There are three things that we want each campaign to do. Is have a digital KPI. Digital KPI doesn't necessarily mean it's at the bottom of the funnel or top of the funnel. It can be anywhere in the funnel as long as it's a digital KPI. Second, the campaign needs to run on open web, because the information that we want to extract for analysis, for insights, for research can only be got from the open web. And the third is it needs to generate a minimum number of impressions, and I'll tell you what those impressions are. In this particular case, they launched a new website. They wanted to drive traffic to the new website. This is an existing campaign. They did not change the campaign. The media planning, the media buying on the open web did not change. The ad server technology, the existing SSP, DSP, whatever first party data they had, nothing changed. We just gave them the script for optimizing AI using Claritas, which is the tech partner, and that was rendering that. The results were, they got, for the same campaign, they got 42% more click-throughs, 259% more traffic on the pages, which also means they got 17% more transaction and 16% more revenue. And I can assure you there was a lot more margin. They didn't share that with us. We know it, we've given that to it, but they don't want us to share publicly, which is obvious, right? But that was the kind of return that they had. And it was a display ad. It was a simple display ad on which we ran it. And the creative deployment did go through that briefing process from a creative agency. So this is one example of using your existing campaign and optimizing it with AI. The second one which we did, that one was pure display, driving traffic to the page. Here the KPI was about lead generation, web form submission. And they also did it, they had 81 versions, more than Kroger. And what they got is 178% yield on the existing campaign compared to what they were doing in the non-controlled environment. The third one was General Motors. They had launched a new vehicle. They had two videos, red and blue color video of the vehicle. They only did 15 versions of this campaign, a lot less than Kroger and ADT. And their yield was only about 68%. And we realized that yield was only 68% because they had less creatives and therefore less variables for addressing the market. But they did a video campaign, which was also very important, and the KPI was visits to the website because it was. So display, web form submission, video, and the last one was Monday.com, which actually did an audio campaign on FM. And they did two voices, male and female voice. They generated about 16 different versions of that voice based on the recommendation that AI generated. And their improvement on this campaign was about 188%. And I'm not getting into the detail of the campaign. The first campaign I explained to you, Kroger, how it went through. But these are all similar. The methodology is same. But what I'm trying to share with you is whether it is display, video, web form submission or audio, the digital KPI that each one of the campaign had a yield which was anywhere between 70 to 260%. And that's a lot of return for the same money, for the same campaign that you were doing. These are not small numbers. If you continuously do this over a period of time, you can expect a lot of the value for organizations to change. What also came out, like in the first campaign, the variables came out. In this campaign, fundamentally people believe that the female voice works better on voice. Some of the insights that came out here was the delivery of the results on the KPI were better catered to by the male voice at certain times. Those are the insights that AI is able to drive for us, which is not generally known or as easy for us to adapt to if we are based on rules and not optimizing. What we also realized is there were certain states here, as you can see, where it was as high as 300%, but there were certain audio clips which were negative 220%. And those are some of the insights that cannot be done if we were doing the old programmatic or DCO optimization, etc., because they are all rule based and you cannot real time change those rules. So these are some of the examples I wanted to share with you. You can see the 259%, 136%, 68%, 188%, and these are the first 4 campaigns. We've done 7 of these campaigns. We are trying to do 2 such campaigns in Vietnam right now. We hope that by September we'll be able to share local Vietnam results also with you. If there is anybody else in the room who would like to test this with their brand, we are more than happy to do that for you. So how do you leverage this opportunity? It's very simple. It is your existing paid media across the omni-channel, using your existing creatives, giving the framework and structure for those creatives. And if this is, I am not an engineer, but this is very simple. It is passing just the information that you get from your existing technology across to AI, and AI will render that, understand it, and make the recommendation in real-time basis. No PII data is required to run this campaign or to optimize this campaign. And it is also, a lot of people have asked, we already do dynamic creative optimization, so what's different? What's different is that is rule-based and trigger-based. And once you set the rule at the beginning of the campaign, it's not easy to change. You don't get the real-time information from that. And it's algorithmic and integrates with only feeds, right? But here, it's all automated. You let AI decide for itself and make the recommendation and trust that the recommendation they are making is the right recommendation. What is also important is the variables that have been decided, or segments or signals that you have from your data, first party data, SSP, etc., can all be adopted, can all be integrated into the campaign, and different cohorts can be built. And this changes based on the AI optimization and real-time measure of those things, which you cannot do on a day-to-day basis. Humanly, it's not possible to keep changing that variable minute after minute, ad after ad. What is also important to know is AI is a machine, right? It needs to learn. So we believe the 10%, the first 10% of the campaign is what the engine will learn. First 10% of the impressions it will learn, and then optimize the balance 90% of the impressions. So if we did this, and we built this as a rule, because we wanted to understand what's the minimum number of impressions you need to burn to learn, and how do you optimize it, and how do you build it going forward. Can you play this video? I just wanted to share with you how easy it is to actually do the creatives. So if you give us the assets, the message, the headline, and the call to action, you insert those into the tool and select which one, and it helps automatically generate the creative. Again, this is not generative AI, please understand. This is just giving a template so that all these creatives can be done at ease. All approved by the agency, by the marketer and so on. And it gives you real-time information on the dashboard of what creative is working, what segment is it working in, which sub-segment is the creative delivering results based on KPI or based on impression or reach. For example, this particular creative here is the highest yielding creative, which gives you close to about 300% more yield than a creative which is here, which is right at the bottom. And that is not being optimized by you or not being changed by you. It is being optimized by AI to deliver the right creative at the right time. So what we fundamentally agreed on this is 75 variations is an ideal number to do the test with 40 million impressions over a period of 1 month and a digital KPI. If you have this in your marketing campaign, and you have, and it can be part of an overall bigger campaign. It doesn't have to be open web only. You can have a bigger campaign worth 100, 200 million impressions. It could be running on Facebook, TikTok, Google, etc., etc. But 40 million impressions on open web out of that bigger campaign is what we can measure. We can put a code, the script, the API, and it will automatically generate and yield that. Again, you can access this data later on. It will be available, but it will work across all kind of data, whether it's first party data, SSP, DSP, etc., because it attributes the pixels or the JavaScript that's given and works on that. So the impression is called from the ad server, as is the case today. It's just a script that sits in the center, which picks it up, does real-time evaluation, optimization, and sends it back. So simple 3 steps. If you have a media plan, if you have a creative brief, and you have the tech piece, which is your ad server technology, etc., it is as simple as integrating the API into that to ensure you learn. It is a learning process, right? We are all in this process to learn. You can learn and help optimize and see what kind of returns you get for your own this thing. And from start to end, it's only about a 30-day process for us to help implement this solution for you guys. So just wanted, and there's a real-time dashboard here. You can get this frequency of the KPI, and last but not the least, it is a journey. You need to get started. As I used to say when we were Mobile Marketing Association, if you're not doing mobile, you will miss out. Now I'm saying, if you're not going to do AI, you will miss out as an organization, as a person, as a professional, and it's time that we start adopting and doing it. Thank you so much. Time?
Thank you so much. So please stay back because we also have a queue from MMA. Yeah, sent to you today. Thank you so much for very useful information. Thank you. Yeah.
Any questions while all this is happening?
So if you have any question, you can send to us directly to our speaker today. So right after here, we will have a Kahoot, the interactive section for everyone to join and have a very special guest today. Thank you so much.